do you think you are? I am! I'm here with a legend, Pete Weber. I mean, perhaps one of the most exciting bowlers that's ever lived. Personality, has won over 50 events. I mean, only a couple of people have done that. And he's joined on Frank's Walks. Pete, let's go for a walk.
All right.
Frank walks. It's time for Frank walks.
Let's do it.
Now, that moment, the anniversary of that just passed.
Yeah, it was yesterday on Facebook. I saw it on there, and yeah, it's kind of a new thing. I thought it died, a few years after it happened, and then all of a sudden last year it came right back up, and it was like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Well, it probably is the most famous moment in the history of professional bowling.
Well, they say it's the greatest shot in bowling. I guess I'm humble like my dad and say it was just another shot, but I really enjoyed it, and it got me a record. It let me pass Don Carter and Dick Weber in U.S. Open or All-Star titles.
And of course, Dick Weber is your father, so it was
we're down here on that Del Mar Loop, and I thought a star we were going to pass a star, but haven't. I've been looking, I haven't seen it yet, so maybe it's at the other end.
It's got to be around here somewhere.
Yeah, it is. But
I like this. They have all the stars here. People that played in St. Louis, famous people.
Yeah, all the famous people from St. Louis. If they're somebody, then they get a star. Even in actually Florissant, where we grew up, where Dad had his bowling center and lived, and I grew up, St. Francis Street in Florissant has a walk of fame for people from Florissant. And I'm waiting for the mayor to get a hold of me and give me my star right next to Dad. So,
Oh, that would be great. Now, bowling. I mean, you think of it as being kind of like a leisurely game, but when you did it, you brought up the intensity, you brought up the personality, and like kind of like a professional wrestling, like personality.
Well, I've always been rebel. You tell me not to do it, I do it. Period. But it's when the new guys from Microsoft bought the PBA back in the early 2000s. They hired Steve Miller from Nike and to be the commissioner, and he pretty much gave us free reign at what we wanted to do on TV. So he said, just do whatever you want, you won't get fined.
Well, I think it helps the sport. I think it helps bring personality. I mean, the more personality that comes out, I think it helps bowling. Now, you've bowled, was it 85 perfect games in competition?
It could be. I'm not real sure anymore. I've probably added to that. But I have over 150. I'm not even real sure how many perfect games I have anymore. So
I mean, I know personally, I think my highest might have been 130.
Did you have fun?
Yes.
That's all that mattered right there. As long as you have fun and do it.
Bowling. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But when you're bowling and you make these 7-10 splits, what's that feel like? First off, you get that situation where you just have the 7 and 10 pins sitting at you, and you think you had this great shot, but then you make that 7-10 split. What's that feel like?
When you leave it, or
when you hit it? When you hit a 7-10 split?
Oh, it's just like, hey, all right, wow, I did it, because it's a shot that it's really a split there's no way really to make it. You have to get lucky a little bit and have the pin bounce out of the back and take out the other pin. But when you do make it, it's almost like an astonishment, It's almost like, oh my God, I made it, So, but it's a fun feeling.
I mean, some of the things I was looking at your father was a big name too. He was helped out by Budweiser and Anheuser-Busch, and if I'm not mistaken, I read that he actually went bowling on an airplane.
Yeah. Oh shoot, I forgot. I'm not remembering the lady's name that he bowled against, but yeah, they bowled in a 707, I think it was. They built one lane in the airplane, and on the ground, I think in the practice game that they bowled, they both shot like 250. And then when they got up in the air, the score was 154 to 153 or something like that. But it was kind of funny because Dad told me that the pilot and co-pilot had a bet. So every time the pilot knew Dad was up, he would tilt the plane just a little bit up to where the ball took a little more time getting down the lane. So, you know.
I think he out. No, I think he's not probably supposed to be here.
But that's what the altitude will do for you.
You're hitting the curb. But what would you say your greatest moment in bowling was? Was it that famous video?
Oh, well, yes, that one would be one of them. Probably the most famous would be that way. And, you know, because I was just flying high right there at the moment after winning, and I really wanted to say, who the fuck are you messing around with me in my house? But with the adrenaline going, it just came out, who do you think you are? I am. And it became a real famous quote. But my other one is, the eagle has landed, when I had the trophy and it kind of fell down on the approach and broke into 100,000 pieces. So I have a couple. I
saw another one where you're like this guy's trying to get his like first major title, and it's like, you're not getting it out of me.
Oh, against Michael Fagan. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and he started it. Everybody thinks I started that trash talking stuff, and he started it. I was just sitting there, and he walked off the approach. He looked at me, and he said, "Come on, man, it's on now." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And that's all it took for me. So I went crazy and told him after I beat him, I said, "You ain't getting your first one against me."
Now, you won the U.S. Open more times than any other bowler, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Is that the most prestigious event?
I believe it is. If you ask any of the other pros too, they'll say the U.S. Open is the most coveted title that we have, because it's the hardest title to win. You know, it's like the U.S. Open in golf. Don't miss the fairway or you're not going to make par, or you're going to scramble to do that. In the U.S. Open, it's take advantage of the pairs you can and leave something that you can make.
Now, you've moved on now. You're now in the senior tour, and now on the 50 and the 60.
Yeah.
From what I understand. What is the state of bowling today?
In the seniors?
The whole sport, across the whole sport.
Well, the kids are bowling for a lot of money right now, and they're thriving. They're making good livings at it. The senior tours, it's a little harder to make a living out there. The prize funds aren't as much. Our major titles now, they're paying pretty good. I think they're paying like $20,000 or so for the senior major titles, and then the rest of the tournaments.
Because it seems like bowling's starting to make a little bit of a comeback, and more people are starting to bowl again after being kind of down for a number of years.
Oh, well, I think it's becoming more recreational anymore, that families are doing it, and all the bowling centers anymore are becoming family entertainment centers with the laser tag and the big game rooms and
the night bowling.
It's just the moonlight bowling, disco bowling, or whatever.
I know Bolero's been very big.
Oh, everybody's big on that. They have it everywhere around here too.
Yeah, I got a Bolero right in my hometown, Belleville, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Right next to the McDonald's. But I see you're a big fan of the Cardinals.
Oh yeah, it's easy to be a coach sitting at home, and to decide what you need to do. But I'm a diehard Cardinal fan. I root for them, win, lose.
It seems like they look
get
like
killed,
It seems like they're committed to doing a rebuild, and it's been a long time since the Cardinals have actually truly went through a rebuild.
Well,
Yes.
I don't know. In this off season, I really didn't. We got rid of Goldschmidt.
And
He went to the Yankees.
Yep. Well,
Well,
I'm a Mets
as
fan,
good there
so-
as he was here. I mean, we loved him here.
and Arenado looks like he's probably gonna.
Yeah, I
if he's
guess
not,
he's our big player now, Arenado.
but it looks like they're committed to trading him eventually. It's just they got to find the right taker.
Yeah, but I mean, we're looking at prospects down in our farm club, and then we're not really spending any money. So I like I say, it's real easy to be a coach at home instead of being in the organization.
But they've been successful. For years.
Yeah, they have been. Last few years have been a little hard on them with injuries and things, but it's still, it's a new year. You never know, spring training.
One thing the Cardinals have is they've always had a good farm system.
Yeah,
There's a guy that's a famous baseball player.
Yeah, and
From my neck of the woods. He ended up.
but from St. Louis.
Yes. I went to Montclair State.
Yeah,
Which is in New Jersey. The baseball stadium at Montclair State is Yogi Berra Stadium, and the Yogi Berra Museum is actually located on the campus of my alma mater.
And here's another one.
Yep, Joe Garagiola. They were actually best friends. They grew up in the same neighborhood. There's the Hill, I think they called it, in St. Louis.
Yeah, they both from St. Louis and both were Yankees. That's all right though.
Well, Garagiola played for the Cardinals. He never really played for the Yankees. He was an announcer for the Yankees, so. But of course, I'm wearing the St. Louis Browns jersey.
I see that. Yeah, our old baseball team.
Got chased out by the Cardinals. I mean, the Browns had some misfortune. They only went to one World Series, and they played the Cardinals.
Of course. And that was at the old stadium too, Sportsman's Park.
Sportsman's Park.
Yeah, no, I wasn't old enough to be able to go to that park, but I was at I've been at all the Busch stadiums, so
Yeah.
it's kind of neat.
Of course, the Mets had that big rivalry in the 80s.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you called the Mets pond scum.
pond scum. Yeah, that was our. In fact, that was our KC95 radio station here in St. Louis. Where they came up with that, I just have no idea where they came up.
I don't know, but I know that the Mets were I was just watching a Met game one time, and Dal Strawberry was in the booth with Keith Hernandez, and they were talking about that, and he goes, well, and Dal, who actually now has his ministry in St. Louis, basically said, well, Keith, we were pond scum.
Oh boy.
Which is probably one of the funniest lines ever.
Yeah.
But I hope they have continued success. I mean, when I think about bowling, I think about you. And of course, we're in the same fantasy league together too.
Oh yeah. In fact, my daughter just took my wife home to get her chair, and she's the one. I'm the owner of the fantasy football team. She does all the picking and stuff. So
I had the greatest choke job ever for a championship game this year in that league, where I benched Patrick Mahomes in the championship game for thinking that I forgot who I started, and then I picked up the Colts defense because the Giants defense the other week gave up 40 points.
Oh wow.
Because they gave up 3 pick sixes. So I took the Colts defense that day, And that day, the Giants decided to score 50 points on the Colts.
Oh, man.
And I ended up losing like by 100 points in the championship game.
Oh, that kind of
I benched. I benched. Yeah, in fact, I benched Patrick Mahomes. I think I might have started Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy ended up getting hurt and like taken out of the game. It was like just a total disaster.
Oh man, yeah.
And I thought that, hey, did Adobe do better? And nope. But
better luck next year.
Yeah.
You guys are in the league. Hopefully
yes.
You guys get a championship. You have one, right? You have a championship in that league?
No, I've lost the championship game the last 2 years.
The fantasy football.
That's right, yeah.
Yes.
Hey, I think we finished in the top 5 this year, so that that was a big improvement over last year.
Yeah, two straight second places.
All right, we'll see what we get next year.
All right, well, thank you, and hope you have a great season this year on the tour.
All right, Frank. Thank you so
Thanks.
much. Appreciate it, man.